y'all, I'm Laura with Hot Fan Media, and today we're going to be talking about a very common but a very difficult problem on the Ford 3.5 EcoBoost motor. Let's get to it. Okay, so the vehicle we're working on today is a 2016 Ford F150 Platinum Edition, and it has the 3.5 EcoBoost motor. This truck came in with a leaking burning problem. If the AC was turned on, you could smell it. If the hood was popped open, you can see the smoke coming from the rear of the motor on the passenger side. Both valve covers were leaking, but only the rear passenger side really shows the smoke. I ordered just valve cover gaskets and did a valve cover gasket job. I had read at the time that the valve covers were bad about cracking and warping, but I visually inspected them, cleaned them real well, and found them to be good enough to put back in the motor at the time. 10 hours later, the job was done, the problem resurfaced, and the engine was still smoking. And by a little while, I mean like less than an hour of driving. I inspected the valve covers again, didn't find anything wrong with them particularly. The only thing that I can deduce is that the valve covers were warped, specifically in that back corner, and that the problem was not going to be fixed until the valve covers were replaced. We decided to replace these valve covers with aluminum instead of the OEM composite plastic. I think composite is an important word here because there are plastic valve covers that don't have problems. Cracking can be a problem, but I don't know that warping is as big of a problem, but they used composite plastic on both the valve covers and the oil pans, and the oil pans were a huge problem, such a huge problem that they recalled them. But the valve covers, I guess, took a lot longer for the problem to produce, and by that time warranties were over. There's only one option that I could find of an aluminum replacement versus a plastic replacement. They are unbranded. I found them on eBay, and a couple of different sellers were just putting their own brand on the valve covers, and I was nervous about getting the part in, but I felt like it was worth it to try out because there was a nominal price difference, like $40 versus other aftermarket plastic valve cover replacements. I ended up being pretty happy with the aluminum covers. One or two spots where the OEM bolts that go to something don't fit in the valve cover, and that was pretty frustrating because I thought, okay, we're just gonna have to get in new ones. But some hardware was included for those spots, and we were able to get around that problem without much hassle. I can recommend them. I don't know about the extended life of the product, but so far they're great. I love them. Aluminum does crack too, but it's more of an eventually thing, and these valve covers, oddly enough, do not get torqued down much at all. They get torqued down to inch pounds, not foot pounds, so there's not a huge danger of that. And so without rambling anymore, I'm going to pass you on to voiceover Laura. Okay, so my footage unfortunately starts about 30 minutes into the job because I did not press the record button correctly, but that 30 minutes was just me taking off wiring harnesses, a little bit of the vacuum lines. There's a big piece of air intake that's got to come out so that you can get your hands in there and have a little bit more of free movement. Where we do start is I am starting to unbolt or loosen the bolts to the valve covers. Finish taking off some wiring harnesses. I unplug the battery because there is a PCM harness that runs directly across the passenger side valve cover that you have to unplug and squirrel back around and out of the way so that you can get that valve cover off. And the battery definitely needs to be disconnected for that. Now I'm just unplugging the ignition coils, and then I went straight to the EcoBoost fuel pump. It has two lines that go into it. One just gets unscrewed, and the other has a quick release connector that is very difficult to get off if you don't know what you're doing. And here I'm just unscrewing these tiny little 8mm bolts that attach a bracket that holds on these intake hoses, which is on both sides. So the one on the driver's side is much harder to get off than the passenger side. And then I moved on to just just removing all the coils from the cylinders, then unscrewing all the bolts, backing them out all the way. They have little retainers, so you can't remove them completely, but I'm just unbolting all of them. And with all the bolts loosened, then the valve covers can come out. The first time I did this job, it was not this easy. These gaskets harden like plastic and stick to the valve cover like glue, and you pretty much can't get the valve cover off, especially when it comes to the gaskets around the cylinders. There is a special tool to remove those gaskets, and I recommend that if you are planning to do this job that you get that tool. I did not have the tool the first time around, and I didn't need it the second time, but I will be getting it if I do this job again, because otherwise you have to take a little pick or something sharp and break the gasket little by little, and it takes hours, and that is so not worth the time when you have a tool that can do it in a couple of seconds. But that wasn't needed here, so they just popped right out. Once the valve covers are out, it's just a matter of cleaning up the sides. I had a lot of RTV silicone that I had to clean up from the last time that I did this job. Or not a lot, just more than they put in factory. But yeah, clean mating surface is paramount with this job. So an important thing to keep in mind with these aluminum valve covers, which I will have linked in the description below, is that they are not OEM and they are completely unbranded, and they don't completely match the original product. I had to bring in Dad to help me figure out how to get the fuel pump screwed in, because the third little hole for that bracket, the screw could not screw into the hole on the new valve cover. So we had to do a little bit of figuring out. There was hardware that came with it that fit that hole, but it was not the same size bolts, so there was a little bit of trying to figure that out, but eventually we were able to get over that hump. So everything that is needed for this job is included with the valve covers, but it's not going to be exact. In my opinion, that makes it like a 4 out of a 5 product. It could be better. I prefer that things be exact as the original. It's not perfect, but it's still a good product. And then it was just a matter of moving PCV valve connectors onto the valve covers, swapping the sensors, and then I had to do a little bit more cleanup before putting the valve cover in, and I just hand tightened them in to make sure that they were threading correctly and they were just starting to screw down, and then I bottomed them out until they just were tight enough to mate the two surfaces together. And then once I did both valve covers, I left them with the bolts just barely tightened for about an hour or two, which is what the Permatex calls for, so that the gasket maker can cure and harden a little bit so it's not completely squished out or becomes useless because you torqued them down to specifications before the gasket maker cured. So once the gasket maker is cured, these bolts get torqued down to 89 inch-pounds, which is very little torque, and I have a special little torque wrench for that. That is pretty old school, but it works. It works for the job. And these bolts actually get tightened down in a pattern, and we will show that pattern here. It's absolutely paramount to any valve cover job that the bolts get tightened down in their specific bolt order and that they get torqued down to their specified torque. Otherwise, you can end up just having to do the job over again. So then I tightened and torqued the fuel pump bolts, and I'm sticking the lines back on, the metal line and then the plastic vacuum line. And sticking these lines on is so much easier than taking them off. Then I'm just putting nuts back onto brackets and rerouting the harnesses through. And the bracket on the driver's side I struggled with for solid 30 minutes to an hour. Not as long as I did the first time, because I gotten it down to a little bit of a science, but it still took quite a long time. And then I got distracted by the coolant reservoir, which I had noticed when I started the job was empty, and I ended up taking the bolts out of the tray for that so that I could have a little bit of room without putting any pressure on that line. But it ended up that the gasket in the coolant connector was bad, and that's why it was leaking. So I was able to put a new one on it, and it was squeaky clean and dry after that. And then after I squared that little problem away, I was able to finish up with the bracket. Now I'm just sticking on some other little random hoses and lines that I took off to get some room to get the valve cover out on the passenger side. And then I just rerouted the PCM wiring harness back through, then left it there and almost forgot to plug it up again at the end, but thankfully I did. This time I did the job, I took off the vacuum lines in a very specific way because the first time I did the job, I took all the lines off separately and then spent about a half an hour trying to figure out how they all went back on. So I was able to stick that back on all in one piece, thankfully. And then I stuck the ignition coils back in, tightened them up, plugged them in, did that on both sides. And then after that, it was just a matter of routing the intakes back in, tightening some brackets, putting on a few different little hoses, and then we just stuck the battery on and gave it a whirl. It ran really well. After all the oil mess was cleaned up and it went on a few test drives, I was able to see for sure that it wasn't leaking anymore and send it on down the road. And that's it. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've run into this problem too, let us know in the comments below. Any information that you have could help other people dealing with this problem. And as always, I will be happy to answer as many questions as I can in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the shop.